Stablecoins are a huge deal. Stablecoins are the evolution of money. And we've often said with that, there is going to be a major opportunity created. With the formation of the Internet of Information, which we're currently communicating on, you had some of the largest companies in the world come out of it. Now, with Web3 and the creation of the Internet of Value and stablecoins as the evolution of money are a part of that, you are going to see trillion-dollar public distributed ledgers actually rise in enabling the Internet of Value. And I'm here to tell you that Hedera Hashgraph is very well positioned. This is a report from Fireblocks that say 90% of banks are rolling out stablecoins. Just yesterday, you had the passing of the Genius Act to actually now be voted on the floor and get approved. And this is going to facilitate stablecoin legislation that is going to see mass adoption of this new form of money. In fact, the new money, the evolution of money is stablecoins and CBDCs, ladies and gentlemen, and they are going to be enabled by global distributed ledgers. And Hedera Hashgraph has seen a real spike recently of 2,150% in regards to its stablecoins, predominantly being USDC, which is in the prime position to be a US company that is going to be used and utilized just like your Web 2 companies are to maintain US technological dominance, but in this case specifically also fiscal dominance and to help stabilize the traditional financial world, which is bedrock is essentially treasuries debt. And right now you have yield spiking and debt devaluing and a kind of realization that perhaps the emperor has no clothes in regard to the debt markets and the fiat systems more broadly. And they need to introduce stablecoins as a buyer of treasuries. Citi actually reckon they're going to be the largest purchaser of treasuries in the future to essentially help alleviate some of the problems. In fact, this is Tether and their US Treasury holdings. They are approaching or just about to surpass Germany in regards to US Treasury holdings. And that's just one player in the stablecoin race. Remember, there is still no clear regulatory clarity on stablecoins, yet we know 90% of banks are looking to enact them. And in this global interoperable world that is being formed, public distributed ledgers are going to be at the heart of that. And Hedera has been gaining momentum in this sector. And I think one thing I also found very interesting before we dive into this kind of montage of important people who are in the know, confirming a lot of what I'm saying. If you look at crypto.com, you save the most money via USDC on Hedera. Now, this is a testament to Hedera's capabilities and its design more broadly. Who'd have thought it might be a good thing to use, or it might be good to have a cheap, stable in terms of pricing in US dollars, fast, affordable, eco-friendly DLT to essentially operate the new form of money, which is, of course, stable coins. So this stuff's really interesting. It's going to create a major opportunity. People don't quite get it when I say stable coins are a major opportunity because I think I'm talking about investing in the stable coins. I'm not. I won't be investing in stable coins. I'm going to be investing in the cryptocurrencies that enable this new form of money and the evolution of money. And things are really ramping up on Hedera, certainly with USDC and Circle, which of course they are partnered with. We are, by the way, going to see a number of council members this year from now until the end of the year. We're 5 months in, nearly 6 months in, there's going to be a whole host of governing council members. And I think in this sector, we're likely going to see some. What I want to do to reiterate a lot of what I'm saying here is actually go ahead and play you guys a montage of clips I've put together, one from just yesterday from Senator Bill Hegarty, who essentially is talking about this trend of stable coins, what they're going to do for treasuries. And if you look at what's happening with Hedera as it relates to stable coins, it's really starting to ramp up. That's a trend I think we're going to see continue. And we're going to see more players enter the space. Like those 90% of banks, for example. What chain are they likely going to build on? Hedera stands out for many reasons, its capabilities, and of course its governance structure. It's run by the largest corporations in the world that you can trust, or not, depending on what side of the aisle you're on. But I also think in regards to the tokenization of treasuries, we see BlackRock's MMF fund tokenized on Hedera, Aberdeen's Lux Sterling Lux Fund tokenized on Hedera. We see Fidelity, we see State Street, we see a lot of people actually tokenizing and looking to use and utilize Hedera for the tokenization of treasuries, which are going to be used to back up stable coins. And we see the accelerant of stable coins on Hedera. Let's dive into this montage. By the end of it, you should all be well and truly convinced that stablecoins are the evolution of money, and I think Hedera plays a major role in that, along with other cryptocurrencies. We're just highlighting Hedera in this case because it's very capable to do so, and obvious in regards to why it may be chosen. Let's dive into this montage.
This is a payment mechanism, and not to be confused with Bitcoin or something that has a speculative component. This puts us into a digital payment framework, the fastest rails available, much better than the system developed in the 70s and 80s, which is slow. It takes days to clear.
So the issue, as far as I have always understood the stablecoin issue, is what is backing this stuff, and how much of it's backed by actual treasuries versus cash versus equities or something else. What does this say about all of that?
It's not going to be equities. It's going to be high-quality, short-term assets, either short-term U.S. treasuries or cash. I think the majority of it will be U.S. treasuries. In fact, what this will do, and the projections are by 2030, this is according to Citibank, stablecoin issuers will be the largest holders of U.S. treasuries in the world.
I believe that stablecoins in particular give us a real opportunity to maintain dollar dominance across the globe. We've talked a little bit about use cases, and as a policymaker in general, I might not be concerned about the way that someone in Mexico, Panama, Peru, Nigeria, or another location is engaged in transactions. But what we actually see is when Stripe has a neobank in Mexico, or Bridge is used to distribute payments to workers across Latin America, that actually strengthens the U.S. dollar. Would you agree? Can you comment on that briefly?
Yes, I think it strengthens the U.S. in two ways. One, many of the companies engaged in the activity you're describing are themselves American businesses, and so they become stronger. But secondly, and I think this is what your question is getting at, it increases dollar demand, increases the demand for U.S. treasuries, and it in turn lowers U.S. borrowing costs.
And we are going to put a lot of thought into the stablecoin regime, and as President Trump has directed, we are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stable coins to do that. Thank you.
Coins really have the potential to ensure American dollar dominance internationally, to increase the usage of the U.S. dollar digitally as the world's reserve currency, and in the process create potentially trillions of dollars of demand for U.S. treasuries, which could lower long-term interest rates.
I think just with that short montage, you really kind of get where all of this is going. The evolution of money is underway. The Genius Act has passed the initial phase. Now it needs to be actually voted on. I think it will pass that. And with that, you're going to open the floodgates to the trend that is stablecoins being the predecessor of money. And there's certain cryptos that are going to play a role in that. One crypto that I think is very well positioned is Hedera. Hedera is my largest position due to its general purpose, fit for purpose, capable nature. It's head and shoulders above a lot of other crypto projects due to its design, and is able to actually enable something like stablecoins. For example, it is fractions in regards to costs of the likes of Visa and some of the other sort of payment rails out there. And that's what this technology is unlocking. It's unlocking a technological advancement. It's making the system entirely more efficient and evolving money in doing so. Bitcoin is not that evolution of money. I don't believe. I think that narrative was hijacked. I think the evolution of money is on distributed ledgers, but it's much the same of what we've already had. And we know that the vast majority of banks are looking to enable this. Who they choose is going to be interesting. I think the certain or recent jump that we've seen for Hedera in stablecoins is interesting. It's actually jumping above a lot of chains. I think this is only something you're going to see continue. And I think that crypto.com kind of report was interesting because it highlights over all the other chains that you can use USDC on crypto.com. Hedera is the winner. And this is going to be a consideration, I believe, in regards to enabling this new form of digital money that is stablecoins, that is coming. Hedera, I think, is going to play a front and center role. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. We just gave you another reason to be bullish on Hedera Hashgraph. I don't just own Hedera Hashgraph in regards to this trend. I own a number of other cryptocurrencies. Many of them we speak about publicly. Some of them we reserve for the Patreons. If you want to join that, check the link out in the description. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. I'm going to love and leave you all. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.